All right, so Shabbat Shalom. Thanks for being here. Those who are here at Temple Beth Abraham and those who might be watching on Facebook Live or YouTube. Participate by clapping and stomping, not by singing, as is always the case here. And you can hum maybe, but leave your masks on at all times. If you are just barely two, it might be different. If you need to go on the grass and play, that's okay as well. And anyway, it's great to have you here and joining with us. I know that this is an anxious Shabbat, or perhaps we're just, for those who are not anxious, you're just putting it off a little while longer, which is more than okay. I hope you'll get a chance to enjoy this Shabbat before the uncertainty of next weekend, whatever that may bring. We are going to begin by singing to God with all this on page 3, Lechu Neranena. Lechu neranena, neranena, ladonai naria, naria, letzor yishenu. Lechu neranena, neranena, ladonai naria, naria, letzor yishenu. Nekad mafanav, betoda, bizmirot naria lo, ki el gadol. Adonai melech gadol ol kol Elohim lechu neranena neranena ladonai naria naria letzor yishenu lechu neranena neranena ladonai naria naria letzor yishenu. Going to turn to page 6. Yismechu hashamayim, let the heavens rejoice and the earth be glad. Just in case you want to know, you're watching, we have space heaters tonight that we rented. We're going to see how those work because services will be in the dark completely next weekend. They're going to just gradually get dark tonight. And we're going to see how they work. You'll let me know. If you're sitting right next to one, they probably work really well. If you're not, let me know if you get any heat from them at all. All right, Yismechu Hashamayim, page 6. Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, umelo. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam. Yiramaya Umelo. All right, we're going to go to Romamu, page 12, Romamu. And instead of yelling key when I say key, you clap. All right, Asher, you ready for that big clap? Romamu, Adonai Elohim. Tachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Here it comes. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. All right, Mizmor LeDavid, page 13. Mizmor LeDavid, Havul Adonai bnei, Havul Adonai, Kavod va'ozaynai, Havul Adonai, Kevod shemo yishtachavu Adonai be'adrat kodesh, Kol Adonai al hamayim el hakavod yirim Adonai. המים רבים. קול אדוני בכוח, קול אדוני בהדר, קול אדוני שובר ארזים, וישבר אדוני את ארזי הלבנון, וירכרם כמו עגל לבנון וסריון. כמו בן רעמים, קול אדוני כותב לבון אש, קול אדוני יחיל מדבר, יחיל אדוני מדבר קדש, קול אדוני יכולל איילון ויחסוף יערות ובהיכלו כולו אומר כבוד. אדוני למה בו ישב וישב, אדוני מלך לעולם, אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. היי ניי 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 היי ניי 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 היי ניי 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 היי ניי 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 All right, page 15. Page 15, and as our last live service goers are coming in, welcome. Great to see you. Shabbat Shalom. Lecha Dodi, page 15. And Talia and Simone, you know this one. You do. You know Lecha Dodi. Lecha Lecha Dodi, Likrat Likrat Kala, Panei Panei Shabbat Nekabela. Lecha Lecha Dodi, Likrat Likrat Kala, Panei Panei Shabbat Nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, ושמו תפארת ולתהילה לך לך דודי, לקראת לקראת קלה, פני פני שבת נקבלה. לך לך דודי, לקראת לקראת קלה, פני פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי אם מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה, לה 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 לך לך דודי, לקראת לקראת קלה, פני פני שבת נקבלה. לך לך דודי, לקראת לקראת קלה, פני פני שבת נקבלה. Bottom of 17. ימין ושמאל תפרוצי, ואת אדוני תריצי, על יד איש בן פרצי, ונשמחה ונגילה, לה 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 לך לך דודי, לקראת לקראת קלה, פני פני שבת נקבלה. לך לך דודי, לקראת לקראת קלה, פני פני שבת נקבלה. We rise and face the entrance. ובואי בשלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי קלה בואי קלה. לך לך דודי, לקראת לקראת קלה, פני פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת לקראת קלה, פני פני שבת נקבלה. And we say to any mourners in our midst, Hamakom menachem etchem b'tok shar v'lei Tzion v'Yerushalayim. May God comfort you with all the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. We may be seated. We are on page 19. Mizmor shir leyom hashabat, tov lehodot le'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ולזמר לשמך עליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך, באמונתך בלילות, עלי עשו ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון בכינור, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. And we continue silently on pages 19 and 20. Tzadika tamar yifrach, keres balvanon yisgeh, shetulim beveit Adonai bechatzrot, Eloheinu yafrichu, od yenubun beseva, D'chenim verananim yiyu lehagid ki yashar Adonai tzuri velo avlata bo. Adonai malakiot lavesh, lavesh Adonai ozita zarafti kontever baltimot. Nachon kisacha me'az b'lamata, nasu nerot Adonai, nasu nerot kolam, yisu nerot och yam. Mikolot mayim, mayim rabim adirim, mishpereyam, adir bamarom, Adonai. Techa ne'emnu me'od beveitecha nava kodesh Adonai leorech yamim. And we rise for the Baruch Hu, page 22. Baruch Hu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Hanayim Varach Leolam Va'ed. We may be seated. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bivaro ma'ariv aravim. El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv aravim. Ahavat olam bein Yisrael, Amcha ahavita, Amcha ahavita. Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, B'shoch beinu, kumeinu nesiach b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu, be'orech yameinu, Laila, Nege Yomam Valaila. Mevatecha al tasir, Imenu leolamim. Baruch Atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Yisrael. Page 25. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha v'chol nafshecha v'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta b'am v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech v'shochbecha uv'kumecha v'kshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu l'totafot b'neinecha Uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha vayam. Continue silently 27 through 29. Vayomer Adonai al Moshe lemor daber v'nei Zerah. Leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kiroshim lehechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeti etchem eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem lelohim ani Adonai Elohechem emet. Adonai Elohechem emet. I'm on page 32. Umalchuto bratzon kululahem Moshe v'nei Yisrael chanashi rabba simcha rabba ve'amru chulam mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh nora tehilot oseh pele nora tehilot oseh pele malchutecha ra'u v'necha bokeh hayam lifnei Moshe Le'eli adu ve'amru Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed Baruch ata Adonai ga'al Yisrael Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh Nora tehilot oseh pele Nora tehilot oseh pele Nora tehilot oseh pele. Page 33, Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom ve'amitenu malkeinu l'chaim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom ve'amitenu malkeinu l'chaim L'chaim u'shalom me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom ve'amitenu malkeinu Hashivenu Adonai Eloheinu Lishalom Ve'amidenu Malkeinu Lechaim. Ufros Aleinu Sukkot Shlomecha Baruch Atah Adonai Aparei Sukkot Shalom Aleinu V'Kol Yisrael V'Al Yerushalayim. Please rise for Vishamru, good clapping song. You might want to leave your books on your chairs, but you don't have to. 34, bottom. Veshamru V'nei Yisrael Et HaShabbat La'asot Et HaShabbat Ledorotam Berit Olam. Beni vein bnei Yisrael Oti leolam Oti leolam Oti leolam Veshamru V'nei Yisrael Et HaShabbat La'asot Et HaShabbat Ledorotam Berit Olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai Et HaShamayim Ve'et ha'aretz Veshamru B'nei Yisrael Et HaShabbat La'asot Et HaShabbat Ledorotam Berit Olam. Uvayom hashvi Shavat vayinafash Shavat vayinafash Shavat vayinafash Veshamru B'nei Yisrael Et HaShabbat La'asot Et HaShabbat Ledorotam Berit Olam. As we remain standing for the Chatzi Kaddish, page 35. Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shemei Rabbah V'yamad yivrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei V'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael Ba'agala uv'izman kariv imeru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevorach Leolam ulial me'almaya yitbarach v'ishtabach v'itbar v'itramam v'itnaseh v'itadar v'itale v'talal Shemei Kedusha barichu leila min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran v'alma v'imeru Amen. Private Amidah, pages 37 through 48. הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. יתגדל ויקרא שמי רבה ועמד יברח חירותי והמליך מלכותי בחייך ובמלכות לכל בית ישראל בגלה וזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם לעולמי עלמיה יתברך יתברך וישתבח ופרבים רבים מן הסבת אדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי לקודשה בריחו לעולם מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תשבחת ונחמתה דמירם בימה ואמרו אמן. תקבל צלטון ואותון לכל ישראל קרוב ועונדי ושמיה ואמרו אמן. אסלאם רב מן שמיה וחמל לכל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומה הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו amen. All right, with the election coming up, I want to talk about a candidate, but I'm referring to a candidate who ran in the 1700s. And he was the first Jew to hold public office in America. Now, Jews were not really allowed to vote, and I'm talking about pre-Constitution America, pre-Revolution America. In the colonies, generally speaking, you had to have something like 150 acres and be a white Protestant male to vote. But some Jews did manage to vote in Georgia, Carolina, and New York. They weren't that fastidious about checking at certain times and in certain states and in certain precincts. And one of them, a man named Francis Salvador, actually ran for office and won. Francis Salvador was born in 1747 in London, a Sephardic Jew. His father died when he was 2, but his uncle was the only Jewish director of the British East India Company, so they were very wealthy. And they made some investments in America while they were living in England, including property in South Carolina, partnering with another Sephardic Jewish family, the DaCosta family. They emigrated to America, well, the DaCostas and Francis Salvador, leaving his wife Sarah and 4 children behind in London. And they immigrated because actually they had lost almost all their wealth because of an earthquake in Portugal, in Lisbon in 1755, but they still owned the property in South Carolina. So he moved out there and he became active in the community, and he was elected to office as part of South Carolina's Congress. And Jews were not allowed to hold office or vote officially in South Carolina, but nobody cared in his frontier district that he represented. So he ran, he won. He was a champion of independence from Britain. He urged the delegation of the Continental Congress to vote for independence, and he negotiated with South Carolina loyalists not to join the British cause. He was part of the Commission to Preserve Peace within South Carolina, and he raised money to arm the South Carolina militia. He became known, actually, Salvador that is, as the Southern Paul Revere, for he warned American troops of the approach of the British fleet, which he saw from his estate. And because of his warning, the colonists were able to defend the port. Salvador also rode 30 miles on horseback to warn colonial troops of an approaching attack by the Cherokees, who were allied with the British. Unfortunately, he died in battle at age 29. He was also scalped. And Colonel William Thompson had this to say in a letter he wrote to William Henry Drayton about Francis Salvador. Mr. Salvador received through wounds and fell by my side. I desired to take care of Mr. Salvador, but before he could find him in the dark, the enemy unfortunately got his scalp, which was the only one taken. He died about half after 2 o'clock in the morning, 45 minutes after he received the wounds, sensible to the last. When I came to him after dislodging the enemy and speaking to him, he asked whether I had beaten the enemy. I told him yes. He said he was glad of it, and he shook me by the hand and bade me farewell and said he would die in a few moments. His son, he doesn't have a happy ending that way, nor in terms of Judaism. His son, John Lovell Salvador, converted to the Anglican Church and became a minister. Nevertheless, in 1950, to celebrate the 200th anniversary of Charleston's Jewish congregation, the city of Charleston erected a memorial to Francis Salvador, the first Jew not only to hold public office, but the first Jew to die in the American Revolution. Born an aristocrat, in this poem was written about him on this memorial. Born an aristocrat, he became a Democrat. An Englishman, he cast his lot with the Americans. True to his ancient faith, he gave his life for new hopes of human liberty and understanding. So a little bit about Francis Salvador, someone most of us had never heard of, but a Jew in America, first to hold public office. I actually will be talking about the election during tomorrow morning's service, not about any particular candidate, but about the anxiety that so many of us feel around the election, no matter what the result may be. So I will be talking about that tomorrow. At this time, if you would like to bless your children or one another, now would be, you could put your hands on their heads. And for males, we say, Simcha Elohim k'Ephraim v'chem Menashe. Female, Yisimech Elohim k'Sor, Rivkara Chev Leah. For everyone, Yivarecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Yer Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka, Yisad Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May God lift the divine face toward you and grant you peace. We rise now for the Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula leotzer v'reshit, page 57. Shelo asanu kukayeh haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech, malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Shehu note shamayim veyoset aretz, umoshev yekaro bashamayim mima'al, ushchinat uzo, begov emiromim, hu Eloheinu einod, emet malkeinu efesulato, kakatuv betorato, vedat hayom vehashivota, el levavecha, ki Adonai hu ha-Elohim, Bashamayim mima'al, ve'ha'aretz mitachat, einod. Kakatu b'toratecha Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yihyeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. We may be seated as we lovingly recall the memory of our departed relatives and friends whose yortzites, the anniversary of their deaths, we observe during the coming week. Thinking especially today of Molly Bluer, Norman Bookin, Charles Charney, Paula Dickman, Nathan Engelberg, Caroline Falkenberg, Ruth Feldhammer, Julius Goldberg, Michael Goldsmith, Nitza Kleinlehrer, Barbara Koren, Fegatova Cuff, Morris Lazar, Ida Laserwitz, Clarence Marcus, Roger Martin, Morris Moutskopf, Clara Simring Oak, Rosa Quitman, Bertha Rosenblatt, Emma Schaefer, Lena Snow, Mary Louise Tenery, Helen Wasserman. We are in the Shloshim, the 30-day mourning period for Gloria Sims, the mother of Elizabeth Sims, Ellen Rubin, the wife of Alan Rubin, and Alan Green. The memories of all of them are with us. We ask all those who are in mourning the year of mourning, or those observing Yortzeit, to please rise to the mourner's Kaddish at this time. Anyone else who chooses to do so as well. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah Be'alma divrach Yerutei v'yamlich malchutei B'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayechol Beit Yisrael B'galav v'zman kari v'yimeru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mivorach Leolam Lalmei Almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei Kudsha Barichu La'elam in kol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'yimru Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. Osei shalom b'imroma hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. Zichronam livracha, may the memory of the people we're thinking of today be a blessing to you always, and let us say Amen. Tomorrow, virtual services at 9:30. Shachrit will be led by our teen Tamar Brinus. Torah and Haftarah will be read by Rick Heeger. Next Friday night, we may not have live in-person services. Check your email, but we will definitely still have virtual services. Sunday evening adult ed with Nitzia Shaked continues. You can sign up for that at any time on the book of Judges. All right. I think that's about all I'm going to announce. We're going to do 2 closing songs tonight, neither of which are in the book. If important singers keep dying, I'm going to keep honoring them. I say that every week. And this week, Jerry Jeff Walker died. He's famous for one song, which I know better, the version by the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band and Sammy Davis Jr., but Jerry Jeff Walker wrote Mr. Bojangles. And we are going to sing Mr. Bojangles tonight in his honor. Mr. Bojangles. Jerry Jeff Walker. Knew a man Bojangles and he danced for you. Worn out shoes, silver hair, a ragged shirt, and baggy pants. Did the old soft shoe jump so high, jump so high, and then he lightly touched down. Met him in a cell down in New Orleans. I was down and out. He looked at me to be the eyes of age. As he spoke right out, he talked of life. He talked of life. He laughed, he slapped his leg a slap. Said his name Bojangles and he danced a lick across the cell. He grabbed his pants for a better stance and he jumped up high. And then he clicked his heels, let go a laugh, let go a laugh. Shook back his clothes all around. Mr. Bojangles, Mr. Bojangles, Mr. Bojangles, dance. He danced for those at minstrel shows and county fairs throughout the South. Spoke with tears of 15 years how his dog and he had traveled about. His dog up and died, it up and died. After 20 years he still grieved, grieved. Bojangles, Mr. Bojangles, oh, Mr. Bojangles, dance. Said I dance now at every chance in honky-tonks for drinks and tips. Most of the time I spend behind these county bars. He said, I drink a bit. Shook his head, and as he shook his head, I'd heard someone ask him, please, 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 Mr. Bojangles, Mr. Bojangles, Mr. Bojangles, won't you dance? Won't you dance? And in honor of the Parsha, the Torah portion, tomorrow, Lech Lecha, we'll sing Debbie Friedman's Lechi Lach. Journey, I will bless you. L'simchat chaim, l'simchat chaim, and l'simchat chaim, lechi lach. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing, and you shall be a blessing, Lechi Lach. May you be blessed on all your journeys, and Shabbat Shalom.